Hey everyone, Whatabout here, and I'm going to be playing some Path of Exile Heist with my brother in Bro-Op. We're going to try and finish this. I know that's the thing I say every time I try and load up Path of Exile, but this time I'm serious-ish. I don't know, I love this game. It's just putting time into it is tough. So I'm going to be playing as a Shadow Ultimate ED Trickster, and I don't know what his build's going to be.
You and I, we're the only ones that made it to shore. Alive, anyway. Looks like you found something you can defend yourself with. Good. This place is crawling with criminals. There's smoke rising just east of here. Could be worth checking if there's...
Is it possible to murder someone who's already dead?
What's up?
The specified character does not exist. What does that mean? I want to make a name. Is that because the name's taken?
It shouldn't, because names are specific to the League.
Oh, okay. It took it this time.
Okay.
I just had to hit OK twice, apparently. Good.
So, I will have you know, I
Off to a
make
great
references to
start.
Ormus not infrequently. I think my next D&D campaign has multiple references to Ormus. As, like, I don't remember if it's a location or what.
Is it because we would just call him Ormus the Enormous? Like,
Yeah.
was this... Okay.
Yeah, just dumb kid shit. That's it. Nothing more.
I just wanted to make sure that this had the same impression on you
Oh,
that it did me, and the answer
absolutely.
is yes.
It's the same thing as Orcarina. Like, us doing Bro-Op, you know, X number of years after we used to play co-op as kids, or, you know, just games together as kids. It's very validating finding out, yep, no, all those weird things that are stuck in my head are stuck in yours too.
It's true. I hadn't appreciated how much that was just the case, but you're right. Ormus the Enormous.
We were so into him for some unknown reason.
It was just such a... He was just so tall.
He was, yeah, comparatively huge compared to every other NPC, and he had, like, his dialogue was real weird, and he seemed like such an unnecessary character.
I think also... I thought about, like, Deckard Cain a lot in the same way. Like... Oh,
Yeah?
that zombie just murked that dude.
Yep.
Glacial Hammer.
I found out I can do a fairly good Deckard Cain impression, and so I've been using that as the model for my old man voices whenever I have to voice act anything.
But the thing that I thought was interesting was apparently, like, everyone else who played those games
It's nice
also
not
came
being
away
dead
with the
yet.
stay a while and listen
Oh,
line.
absolutely. Everyone. Stay a while and listen.
It
Like,
was
it's just stuck in your head after a long time, and there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that.
There was some game that referenced it, and I was like, oh, I guess that's still relevant. This Templar just going around hitting these slow-moving zombies.
Okay. Let's see. By the way, considering how this game... Oh, shoot. Between sessions, I should show you what loot filter... Like, what loot filters are and send you one of the good ones. I think there's pretty much only one. But, instead of picking up every white item we go by, it's honestly best to almost ignore most loot in this game.
Like, just every once in a while you see that, like, green item or whatnot.
Yeah,
just like,
at least from what
okay.
I know.
Seems fair. I mean, that's certainly how it worked with Diablo eventually. Was just kind of like, why?
I don't really need all these blues. I don't need the money.
I need things like even the yellows eventually just became meaningless. Was the funny part.
Carling of
Like just
Murfield.
as the game went
You have
on, you just
transgressed
cared about
against your
less and
God, dear
less.
fellow man.
money, just nothing. Like, it needed to have that kind of like the golden color distinct from the yellow.
Let's see. I guess I'm going to go out and just stab things until you catch up. Unfortunately, there's some amount... Oh, can I not leave? Oh. I was going to go back and stab Hillock again, but it looks like I'm stuck.
Oh, well, yeah, that's Hillock.
Yep. Punch him. Can I just go outside? Yeah. Alright. I'd like to sync up our dialogue listening so we don't have weird cross commentary.
That's what this place smells like.
Not that I care too much about the story at this point, but like at least they tried. I should respect that.
Low on mana.
Crabs are hurty. Okay.
Hillock is like no pushover though.
Yeah, he's not. He's
just like
every time I fight him I get very strong butcher vibes where it's just like he's not somebody I can just kind of ignore, and he hits hard enough that I actually have to keep an eye on my health. What is this?
I mean, is the trick just like
you
just
have
use
to
healing
heal.
potions?
Yeah,
okay,
it's not actually that bad, but
I was mostly just wondering whether or not it was the type of game where you were supposed to kite things or whatnot, or was it like Diablo?
It's definitely more on the Diablo side of things. I've had a number of hard fights where I did have to resort to kiting, but usually once you get like your base equipment down and you're good to go, it's just easy peasy. Then again, the last time I played this, I was going full minion master, which is, well,
I'm impressed by how much
I barely
this
even
place
saw
wants me
bosses
dead.
attack, so we'll see how it goes with this one.
What is the button to see loot?
Alt. I believe it's alt. Yeah.
Does not work. Well, you're just gonna have to tell me if there's anything good that drops on the ground.
I want to say loot is instanced.
Well, that's gonna be exciting.
We can look. Maybe you have some kind of loot filter already going. And worst comes worst, like, I can just give you hand-me-down gear until we figure out what's wrong on your end.
I mean, I can see it eventually. Okay. All right.
Because it's not like we're in that bit. Whoops. Right. The M button does not stand for map. It stands for microtransactions. They already have enough of my money.
I should look first to see if it's keyed somewhere. I just got to Lion's Eye Watch. I assume that's...
Yep, I will come back. Assuming this matches up. Yes. So do I have any scrolls of Time Portal? Nope. Ignore that for a little while. Right. And I'm back. Alright. Start with Nessa.
I saw what you did to Hillock out there, Shadow. Your murderous art is the reason you're here, in exile, and it'll be the one thing that sees you through to another dawn. I'm Nessa, and I suppose I should thank you for ridding us of that putrid giant. Back in Oriath, I feared your kind, condemned you from afar. In Rayclast, I don't have that luxury. Lion Eye's watch isn't much, but it's ours. We could use you here, while you live. But should you wish to venture out, do just one thing for me. Out on the coast, amongst the wrecks, there must be a ship's medicine chest. I have many to care for, and there's only so much I can do with herbs and seawater.
But then again, maybe it's just a little laggy
Be well.
in town. All right, I'm here.
It's probably mostly just laggy in town.
So are these just other random people around, aren't they? And I should talk to people.
Yep.
But I should also find you, right?
Yeah, I think we have to group up first. Let's see. Social. You are... There we go. Invited to party.
Accept.
Alright. So I talked to
What
Nessa
little
already.
help I can offer is yours.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to sell stuff.
Ooh, I can purchase and sell items.
What's the... Hey, chat, what's the button to just quick sell things?
Be
Is there a
well.
button for that? Hopefully there is. Alright, I'm gonna talk to Bestel and Tarkley as well.
A sodden shadow staggered from the surf and surveyed the somber strand. That's the first line of the poem I'm writing about you, Exile. Easy, lad. You could poison a bloke with a look like that. The name's Bestel, captain of the good ship Merry Gull. Alas, my Merry Gull is gone. My crew is gone. But my wits remain, after a fashion. There's an island, a hop, skip and a wade offshore of the terraces. That's where my Merry Gull ran aground. Watched the locals spit roast the ship's doctor, but his medicine chest might still be there, amongst the splinters and bones. It'd have everything Nessa might need. Dr. Shaky Hands Opton was lousy with a scalpel and even worse with a saw, but he knew his apothecary. Explains the shaky hands, if you ask me.
And then once I've put gems and stuff, it looks like I can take them out.
Yeah,
of
you
it,
can
no
you can
problem
take
again.
those out at the very least. I think there are
Okay.
other upgrades that are consumable, but your skill gems are they're gonna last you the whole game, presumably, but the equipment will not. Sort of.
Fine work with Hillock. Where'd you learn to fight like that? No, forget I asked. We exiles have no history. Dominus took it from us when he had his blackguards dump us in the water out there. Here, got something for you. Should help you kill a few more of those undead bastards. No, don't bother thanking me. The way I figure it, the longer we fighters live, the longer everyone lives.
But then maybe I want to use the glass shank for something. Or maybe I don't care.
Farewell.
Let's see. If I seem quiet in town, it's because I'm listening to the NPC dialogue. Anyway, I think
Oh, yeah,
I'm good
that's
to go.
fine.
Let's see. I'm gonna pop out into the coast. I just generally sell anything, especially early on. We're gonna be getting utter trash items,
Oh yeah, it makes sense.
so why even linger? Unless it seems like something you absolutely want. But yeah, there's no gold
I
system
wanted
in this
to
game.
I wanted to make sure that I could get, like, shock. That should be available or something. so.
Tarkley, I believe, gives it to you.
Oh, just like straight up.
Yeah, as a quest reward. I could be wrong. I think you buy gems from Nessa, but you can get a lot of the stuff that you're looking for from quest rewards instead.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
it.
it's not really, like, that important. There we go. Spark is just one scroll of wisdom, though, so I can just open with that. And let's see. It doesn't matter which thing I slot it into. I can just put it into something.
As long as it's a matching color.
Yeah. But it looks like I can have, like, a lot of different spells running.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So you can fit 8 total. And then there's also modifiers, so you could have like bonus projectiles, or this does fire damage as well, or a bunch of other things.
Yeah, so I might as well just, like, put these into various stuff while I have them.
Yep.
Neat. Okay. And you said we can just leave then.
Yep. Yeah, once you've talked to everybody and you have the Mercy mission, we can just head out the door. Okay. Hopefully you should be able to join me.
Low on mana.
Is it working?
The coast, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Because we've
There you
grouped
go.
up, it should just be there. Can you see that I'm here?
Yep. Yeah, I see you on the map. I am just
Okay.
I'm just running around stabbing trash mobs until you're caught up.
Okay. Are you scrolled out some on the map?
If you press tab, you can get a bigger map.
Yeah, I can see that if I press tab. It must have been the orientation or something, but it wasn't far enough out for me to be able to see you.
Yep.
Well, it does run better now that I've switched to the Vulcan instead.
Hey.
The other piece of random advice was also helpful.
Like I said, very passionate fan base.
Khan's canoe struck this sand with the force of destiny. At his beck, the greatest war host in Kardui history tamed the wild sea, their canoes coupling with the land one by one. Lion-eyed gemlings met us with shining metal and bold words. Hyri's arrows withered their pride, Calm's axis silenced their despair. Marseilles Lion-eye fought bravely to the last. Calm honored him with a place on his belt. Calm has shown Rayclast our Kardui strength. Calm will teach Rayclast the Kardui way.
Alright, and now that I have Spark, I don't need to, like, look for more Sparks, right? Like, that's
Correct.
just it?
Yeah. Yeah,
All
once
right.
you have one spark, that's it. That's all you have to worry about. See, for me, it
So-
wasn't the... It's not the bald head with the Templar that bothers me. It's the fact that you can't get him pants for a considerable amount of time.
No, I gotta show off the gun show. Because the guns on this guy are those...
The legs.
the legs.
Wow. Crab party.
Oh, man. I haven't told you anything about this Lancer session, have I? What I've been playing?
No.
It's all about carcinization, so...
Right. You told me a little
Crabs.
bit about it.
Okay.
I
I've
don't
just,
rem...
it's just so good. I think the thing that's been most fun about it is how much the party is disturbed by the fact that crabs, like the uplifted crabs, will eat the non-uplifted crabs. Like that's just the normal thing.
And they're bothered by it?
Oh, one of the party members said it's like a man eating a tiny man. It was just like they couldn't get over it. So
Yeah?
I mean, I think it's fair. I think I was intending for them to feel. Oh,
Yeah, she killed me too.
I was wondering where you went.
Yeah, she absolutely smoked me. Unfortunately, this kind of garbage for at least a little bit.
I gave her a good run. What's the key to press? I like a middle mouse button skill. Is that right?
Yeah. So left click, middle mouse, and right click.
I see. Okay, that's good to know. I don't know if I prefer the middle mouse button, but I should or shouldn't be able to change that.
I don't know. Honestly, I wish I did, but I'm not that much of an expert in this game, and I just use middle mouse.
Okay, where did you kill her? There's probably loot, right?
Yeah. Down here. Right here. She's the toasty-looking woman here.
Nothing good.
Yeah, happens.
It doesn't really matter what weapon I do for the damage it outputs. It's just the the spell damage, right?
I
think that's right.
don't know.
Because they do affect spell damage and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the weapon you have does get affected. Yeah, adding some physical damage and chaos damage to your weapon. I think that's how it'll work. I don't know. I'm sure we're going to get a billion tips once we get going, as people teach us how to actually play. This is one of those games that I just kind of fall into a rhythm, and then I don't actually... It's not that I don't learn anything, it's autopilot enough because it's so familiar. And so specific questions are just like, I don't know.
I was thinking we finally were playing an RPG. Where did you go?
I went through the southern door.
Southern door. Okay. Because before we were just playing games that were kind of like RPGs, but we're never quite. Like we were playing survival-like games with...
some RPG mechanics that
Yeah.
we tacked on. Yeah.
Your skill gem can now be leveled up by clicking on this button.
Yeah, it'll be in the right side. It'll have a little level up button. I don't know why they don't just level up automatically, but I'm sure there's a specific reason. Maybe it's for leveling up skill gems to like hand to an alt or something, or who knows.
I see. So I like probably should... Okay, so how does this work for... I can have multiple,
Multiple skill gems, multiple...
Is there a reason I shouldn't just have all of the ones possible in?
You might as well just equip everything. Yeah, if you've got a ton of
Okay.
skill gems, just equip them all. Eventually you'll realize that you're only using a handful of them, and
You mean Spark, right?
pretty much. That is just... What was the skill called in Diablo 2? This is absolutely the same skill.
Calm has removed the eternal stain from this coast. The Empire's citizens decorate our meeting houses with their heads. Our warriors build homes for our families. Our families till the earth, fish the waters, fill the air with song. The Karwi way is yet a seedling here, but it grows, gains in pride and power every day. Kalm has kept his promise. The time of the Karwi has come.
With every death, I live a little bit more.
I think currently, no. Eventually, yes. I personally don't distinguish from them. I think it actually does matter on what kind of build you're going for. So as you level up, pay attention to the perks you're picking, because some of them will specifically enhance your evasion rating or your... This hurts. Some will enhance your physical evasion or your... yeah, there we go. Sorry, brain. Will enhance one stat or the other, and that's the one you want to focus on. So if you see you're starting to pick up a bunch of perks, they could give you extra evasion. Probably stack evasion.
Okay.
Unless I'm very specifically wrong and you want to have a more balanced approach. I don't know. I think the build you are following probably will say, or you can just go off script and not care, because chances are we're gonna stop before before we hit the like full end game stuff where you really need bleeding edge perfect build. I think
Yeah.
we're done with that area, by the way, if you want to come back.
I mean, I guess realistically, like, because the skill orbs level, as long as I keep a few of them kind of in tow, I don't need to worry about specializing to them at all, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Did you
And
just
they
go back
level
to
up-
the entrance here? Is that
Yeah,
how
I
you
went back to the entrance and then I went back to town.
Okay, via the waypoint.
Yep.
And I can't just quit the game to fast travel? Or better yet, die?
I look like false advertising.
Huh. Okay, so... Yes. False advertising?
You'll see when we get back out into the field. I have a couple of cosmetic items for this, and let me tell you, I look like I'm supposed to be some kind of paladin, as opposed to what I actually am.
I'd almost stopped believing in miracles. This medicine chest, it's greater than the serums and salves it holds. It tells us that we can do more in Ray class than merely suffer. I've not much to offer in return, but please, take something in thanks for what you've done.
Oh, interesting. These are like support things.
Yes. So some are going to be useful, some might not. So for example, I'm supposed to go for infused channeling support. Apparently. Let's see. First I gotta find a 3-link. Oh,
Grants a bonus to skills and sockets connected to it. Okay, do you know how these work exactly?
Yes. So if you look at a socketed item, are the sockets linked?
For some and not others.
Okay, so if they are linked, that means, so I've got Viper Strike. If I put lesser poison support in a linked slot to Viper Strike, it grants its effect. So supported skills have a 40% chance to poison on hit, and added 2 to 3 chaos damage. So the support gems have to be connected to another gem to actually get the full effects.
Yeah, and I might as well link things with the spell I'm going to use the most.
Yeah.
And what is channeling a supported skill? Are those skills that just like last over time?
Goodbye.
I think certain skills are considered channeling. So if you notice at the top, there are tags. So every skill, so for example, Viper Strike, attack, duration, melee, strike, and chaos. And so as long as they have matching tags, so for example, infused channeling support will help anything that has channeling, but that doesn't do channeling. Whereas I have a spell called Blight that is a AoE channeled ability. Oh, so it's like a damage over time flamethrower. I got it.
So, you managed to salvage Shaky Hand's druggery. Nicely done. Nessa will put it to good use. More than that benumbed quack Optin ever did.
Got a job for you, if you're willing. There's a pool near the mudflats needs investigating. You'll smell it before you see it. Stinks like a carcass in high summer, but that's not the worst of it. Dead birds walking. Animals don't rise up again the same as people do here. So if they aren't raising themselves, what's doing it for them? The answer's in that fetid pool. Clear the place out and kill whatever's raising those rowers. We've got enough living dead to contend with already.
Okay. So, let's see. I want to see if I can quickly grab a 3-link piece of equipment. Nope. Dang. Do I have any blue link? Nope. Alright.
Stay sharp out there.
So when you're ready to go, head back to the waypoint. Make sure you get the quest from Tarkley, and we'll head out to the coast.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I was just looking at my flasks and dealing with that.
Yep. Yeah, the reason why you want the Quicksilver flasks is once we get most of our equipment going, you're pretty much only ever going to want to use 1 healing potion and 1 mana potion, and then after that you mostly just want the movement speed to get around.
Okay. Great.
At least that's... I'm parroting what a lot of the endgame players tell me. There's very, very much like... I'm sure there's a lot more leeway, but that's just what everybody always tells me, so I'm like, alright, sure.
I mean, it is kind of like, I guess if you're playing Diablo 2, like it does kind of wreck you once you get to hell mode if you haven't built your character in a particular way.
Yeah.
It's the first character to reach level 70.
Yeah, so the league just started today.
Oh,
And,
I was thinking
yeah.
like, gosh, that must be pretty doable, right?
Yeah, so effectively leagues happen once every 2 to 3 months, I think. And everybody will... there it is. Let's see. Everybody will pile in and race to the finish to try and get achievements. There is... let's see. I don't know where it is. Menu. Is it under events or challenges and achievements? I think it is. Yeah. So if you get all the challenges done, you actually get bonus loot. I think it's bonus loot specifically for the season that you get to bring with you, and they look really cool.
I see. I see there was a waypoint back there that we didn't go to. We're just fine with that?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. We're never going back there.
Yeah, I'm also not sure if we actually have access to that waypoint.
Oh,
Like, I think that's just an area. There's no waypoint there.
oh, I thought I saw something. So,
What is this thing? Oh, do we have a heist thing? Smuggler's cache. I have no idea. Nope. Maybe? Creates a portal to the Rogue's Harbour from town or a hideout. Okay. Apparently those are not instanced. So... I guess you got all of those.
oh, great.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just going somewhere, right?
Yeah. So, do you now understand why I said I look like false advertising?
I guess so, but what are you advertising for?
I just look like some kind of crazy paladin, and I very clearly am not.
I see. So just the misleading. I
Yeah.
would say that's kind of a, that's like, there's some book I was reading where like wizards weren't able to use swords, so somebody would like walk around with, like there was a wizard who would walk around with a fake sword so that you didn't know he was a wizard.
Yeah. I think I know what you're talking about, but I can't, for the life of me, remember.
Yeah, I don't remember the book being very memorable, but I suspect it was probably one that you and I both read, so.
Was it? That almost sounds Discworldian, in a way.
It wasn't, though. It definitely wasn't
Yeah.
Discworld.
Okay.
Because it made too much of a focus on kind of the magic system in a way that Discworld does not.
Yeah. I still don't know how magic works in Discworld.
Would you be familiar with Brandon Sanderson?
Yes. I read his writing tips, but I have trouble actually enjoying his writing in a lot of cases.
Yeah, I happen to have read one of his Mistworld things recently, and I think he has some really interesting ideas, but I think there are other points where he's a little behind the times in certain ways of how he's like kind of phrased certain, I think, in how he understands certain things. I think one of the things that was useful though was kind of his distinction of hard versus soft magic systems, where you try to make
Yes.
magic more comprehensible in the way that's useful or not. I mean, I think I understand kind of why it's useful to have a hard magic system, but I think the point that like it's always superior that some people would claim is, I think it's clear that there are ways in which it serves Discworld to have magic be somewhat less structured than I think.
Yeah, he had a really hard magic system, specifically for the Mist one.
Yeah, I think also the other one that comes to mind is it's the King Killer Chronicles, right? That's the one I'm
Yes.
thinking of.
Yeah. That's,
and then also the Imager.
that's not Sanderson. That's
No,
the
it's
other
not.
guy.
It's Patrick Rothfuss.
Yeah.
But it struck me as remarkably similar in the goals, I guess.
Yeah, they definitely had very similar flavors as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not going to say I didn't like either of them, but I know everybody's super excited for the third King Killer Chronicles book eventually, and I'm just kind of... I got kind of tepid on it after a while, because it just sounded like this extraordinarily long prologue.
Oh, really? I actually don't know what they expect from the stone door. I never read book 2 because I read a synopsis and it just like did not excite me at all.
That's
It
kind of
seemed
where
like
I was at.
it seemed like the character managed to like solve none of his problems and grow not at all as like a person between book 1 and 2. Like he became more powerful but like didn't develop as a character. Is that fair? Was the review just like unkind to him, or?
That is probably a very valid criticism. I will admit I've forgotten much of it. It felt like a very well-written sort of Harry Potter, if Harry Potter was less friendly to those around him and didn't have like a major antagonist haunting him for his entire school year, and he had some kind of weird obsession with some woman.
Yeah. It doesn't add a ton to the book, I admit.
Let's see. What build am I going for? Blight? Let's see, what's it? You know what? I'll just repost it every once in a while. There we go. No, I wanted to like Kingkiller Chronicles more than I did. I think the biggest problem is it starts with this guy doing these like kind of impressive things, and for whatever reason you have to like... They were trying to get him out of his stupor so that he would go off and be a hero again or help in some way, shape, or form. And then they sit down in an inn to write his biography. Or him tell his tale and the guy is telling the biography. I got a little lost on that part.
I think the framing just doesn't add very much. Like maybe the stone door would get around to the point where it did, but I think book 1 should have dealt with the framing, and book 2 should have been like in the present from that one. And I think I would have liked to have seen it done that way. And when I read the synopsis to book 2 and was like, wait a second, they haven't gotten past this yet.
Nope.
and then book 3
still
is
haven't.
going to be like still at the school. I was like, no, just move on. Like it's fine.
And so if it had just not been written from the perspective of it being a biography of a man, I think I would have been fine with it. Or
yeah, I think it buys too heavily into that great man of history sort of thing that I was talking to you about. And I think that's like something the story could have been in a good position to discuss with more nuance. But
the other thing I would say is if he was just writing the books faster, none of this would matter. You know, if he had 12 books out right now that chronicles this guy's life from childhood to becoming the King Killer, I think I'd be cool with that. But
I don't think I would. I think if it continued at the same pace in 12 books, I would feel the same way as Brandon Sanderson's Stormwind. I forget how that
Stormlight
one is.
Chronicles?
The Stormlight Chronicles. Just kind of how often I just wanted it to move in a way that
faster.
It didn't move. I think part of it was, I just remember there was like one point where I was in the middle of a combat scene early in the book, and they're kind of info dumping on kind of how like this guy's various powers work, and I don't know, it struck me as rather clunky that they should have left it more mysterious and described kind of like how the powers worked later. And there were just a variety of points like that where it felt like if Brandon Sanderson didn't try to churn out so many books, he would have had more time to like make those a little better.
I guess that's a good point.
I mean, you know, they were still good. Like I still enjoyed it, but I didn't continue reading after the first one for that.
Have I recommended Kings of the Wild to you yet?
I don't remember it. No,
you
I don't
might
think so.
like it. There are 2 books. The first one is indisputably a lot better. It's effectively about a D&D party that retired, but has to like get the band back together to go on like one last big adventure to save one of the guy's daughters, and it's incredibly compelling.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'd certainly be interested.
Let's see. And the second one is a little bit less compelling. It's still kind of fun, but it doesn't have kind of that like old D&D party, you know, everyone has already become rich and famous and then squandered their wealth and retired. And
yeah, I think there is something like cool about those ideas.
I think for me the biggest attraction was just the fact that they were a functional D&D party to begin with, as opposed to, you know, most fantasy books that I read are always about like the group forming and or just kind of their dysfunctions. Even Lord of the Rings, for example, yeah, they work together, but they're not really good companions. They have some moments, but
Yeah. What would you say Lord of the Rings is really about?
You know what? I think years of retrospection on Lord of the Rings has poisoned me a little bit. Because the more I think about it, the more I just, like, absolutely hate Frodo as a character.
That's the real issue you're gonna take is Frodo.
You know what? Yeah. There's something about Lord of the Rings that Frodo as a character, and I think maybe part of it is just the fact that, yeah, he is being influenced by the ring the entire time, but his inability to... I don't even know if I'd use the word, like, control himself in the face of... the ring's influence, but it wasn't, like... I think maybe part of it is the ring never felt particularly influential.
It felt like maybe Frodo was just kind of a jerk.
Yeah! Yeah!
But is it the
Like-
ring, or is Frodo just not a great person?
And
Tell me.
I think that is I think that is something that I would get stuck on when reading that, where it's just like, if the ring had somehow had like more of an effect on him, or if like he was straight up talking to Sauron or Saruman, or they showed his descent, but no, it really was just kind of like him slowly getting crazier because he had this thing, but not the why.
Yeah. I think it definitely didn't want to tell you like, oh, like it didn't want the ring to really be like a character exactly. And I think I understand that.
You played Warcraft 3, yeah?
Yeah.
You
Where'd
remember?
you go again? I was just looking at my inventory.
I left the fetid pool. I'm now outside next to a
Back
waterfall.
the same we came?
Yep.
Okay, great.
It is Ormus the Enormous, literally his brother. That's so cool. Yeah. At the beginning couple months into lockdown, I was like, I'm gonna buy him a headset and we're gonna start recording together, because he's not busy anymore, or he's still busy, but
Yeah.
not college busy.
Did you go back to town?
Nope.
Okay.
Let's see. I
Oh,
am
there you are.
the
Snad
yeah.
Hamlet.
I should be the X mark on the corner of the map.
Part of it is I keep checking my build to see where my passives are supposed to be going.
I've been lightly ignoring it. I'll level up occasionally. I can chill out for a bit. But just to finish my thing about Warcraft 3, it felt like Arthas's descent into madness, while it was maybe a little bit more comical, it made more sense. You know, here is something dire happening and nobody else is doing anything about it. You know, here are people getting sick and things are getting worse. And let's see, let's turn off local because I don't need to see that. People are getting sick, things are getting worse, no one's providing solutions, and his de facto father figure, mentor character is yelling at him constantly.
Yeah, it's funny because I don't quite remember like what had caused that whole process. So I don't remember having a strong opinion on it.
Effectively, I don't remember it that fully. I just remember it being like, yeah, this makes sense. Yeah, because I think I was playing Warcraft 3 around the same time that I was experiencing, or that the Star Wars prequels were coming out. You know, episodes 2 and 3, with Anakin's descent into madness as well. And so there are some strong parallels there. And I found myself gravitating more towards the Warcraft 3 one because the way it was shown made a lot more sense. Because in the movies, Anakin just came off as just kind of pathetic.
Yeah.
In the same way
Yeah, I
as,
think
as
also
Frodo.
that his character did such a 180. Like, it didn't
Yeah.
build towards anything. It built towards something, and it went somewhere different from what it built towards. And I think it was kind
Whiplash.
of tied in with, it was really tied in with, they had to adhere to the sequels to it,
Yeah.
but they hadn't written Anakin to have that trajectory, and I think they realized that too late. Or didn't care.
Well, sort of. They actually just foisted it onto the people that did the Clone Wars TV show to actually portray it. And they did a really good job in the Clone Wars TV show to show Anakin slowly losing his mind.
Are you referring to the one that was kind of the, like, soft shaded? Or
Yeah.
the, like...
Yeah,
Okay.
the 3D animated stuff. They started it with the...
Wait. You just said yeah, and then the 3D animated stuff. So I know there are two.
Well,
which one are we talking
Okay,
about?
so they're all kind of the same thing. So it started with a 2D animated film that was... Oh, you're probably thinking cel-shaded, not soft-shaded. Probably.
Okay, which one are we... I know one was,
Okay.
like, CGI-like, and the other one
Yeah,
was, like,
so there was
2D.
the full 2D one that was made by the Samurai Jack people, I believe. That was the first Clone Wars, like, kind of offshoot thing that they did. And that was just, like, a short special. I think it was, like, little 5-minute episodes to promote the movie. And people liked that enough that they decided to make it into a 3D series. And then there
Okay.
was also... there was a 3D movie that was also Clone Wars related. I don't remember where that was in the process. Yeah, it was an introduction. I just didn't know if the Clone Wars TV show had officially launched by that point. I just remember seeing it with Dad and being like, I mean, this is kind of nice. I'd like to see more of this. And then it's like, oh, no, there's just like a full-on 10-season series on Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it was a little kiddish, but there were
Yeah.
definitely like some really good episodes in there.
Yeah, I think the interesting one is, like, I've never felt, like, too upset if something's, like, really targeted for a younger audience, as long as it doesn't shy away from, like, asking the deeper questions. Like, I felt like Steven
Yeah.
Universe towed a good line of that, where it's like...
I still haven't gotten to that one. I should. I just found the fan base for Steven Universe to be a little bit onerous.
Onerous.
Maybe it's because I was closer to the art side of things, or
Yeah, I just have
Just
no
spent
idea
more
what the
time on-
fan base is like. I just know what my friends are like.
I have trouble with extremely passionate fan bases. I mean, we were even talking about this actually before we started streaming and recording. But let's see. I'm just gonna... Oh. I forgot I'm in a guild. Where's this go? Who knows? Down we go. Oh,
I think
wait.
it's mostly
here.
just interesting because my girlfriend, like, reads a
We
lot
should
of...
go back,
like,
actually. Do we have
Oh,
a
yeah?
town portal scroll?
I do.
Yes. Okay. You want to pop it?
Can I use yours?
Yeah.
Okay. So I should come down again.
Yes.
Flooded depths. Okay.
I think we passed each other on the stairs.
I saw you out for a moment after I had already clicked it and it was, like, waiting. Okay. Oh, you already popped it.
Yep.
Great. Yeah, just because my girlfriend, like, reads a lot of fan fiction online, but she had mentioned that I think that there could be some, like, harshness sometimes in the way fandom manifests itself, and she connected that to Steven Universe at one point. So
Hello.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's true of almost any fan base that it can get too deep in a bad way.